everybody, and we are clocking back into Yahoo Reddit's 17th season. That's actually insane to say. My name's Laura. I'm one of your hosts.
My name is Meggie. I am the other host. And yes, it is officially our 17th season. And in 2 months, in October, it will be our 5-year anniversary.
Anniversary! We did it, babe! And also, we're reading The Heart of Betrayal, which is the second book in the Remnant Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
And Maggie and I are jazzing. We're jazzing over this series. At least I'm having a really good time. I don't want to speak for you, Meg.
We're jazzing over it. I actually was just editing social media clips for the first book, The Kiss of Deception,
Yeah.
and got to relive once again over the assassin and prince sleight of hand and not knowing that the author
Ah,
tricked us the whole time. And that
uh,
rocked. That's still
oh,
like one of the
oh,
craziest things I think I've ever
Mary. Oh,
read.
Mary, you trickster.
Oh, Mary, what a brilliant twisted mind. And where we left off on the first book was, Kaden, the assassin, has officially kidnapped Lia. We got a little bit of Stockholm syndrome going on where she was at first really feeling Rafe. She shares a kiss with Kaden at one point, kind of a love triangle. It's a little tenuous. It seems like she clearly has a favorite.
Yeah, it's not much of a
And,
love if it's a love triangle, I want to say like it's one of those like scalene triangles that it's like one side is clearly way better than the other side, you
that
know.
was a really good math term to
Thank
pull out. I don't think I've
you.
heard that since high school.
I'm trying this thing where I'm getting really geometric this season.
You're like, I'm taking a sophomore geometry class again in high school just because I
Yeah,
kind of want to learn.
getting back to my roots in math, you know.
Hey, as you have to. And so, tenuous love triangle, and Kaden is the assassin, has captured her, is bringing her into Venda, which is one of three kingdoms. There's Morrigan and Dalbrek. And Prince of Dalbrek, Rafe, is also following them into Venda because he's a nerve.
Rafe threw a Hail Mary of a plan. Like he was on their trail all last book. And in his final, like, I'm going to save her plan, he also goes in as a prisoner to Venda and lies and says he's just the right hand of the prince, but secretly he is the prince. So this book does a really good job because it really picks up right where we left off, which I think is awesome and very hard for books to do. But they're going to arrive in Sanctum Hall, which is like essentially the kingdom castle of Venda. um we learn a little bit about their government. Like there's obviously the Komizar, who's like the king or the emperor, and then there's governors who rule over different like factions in Venda. So there is some sort of hierarchical society going on here.
Yeah, they have a like little bit of democracy. Like maybe the governors are their House of Representatives. Not really sure, but
Yeah,
that's what's going on. It
I
doesn't
imagine they're not
necessarily.
elected. Let's make one thing clear.
No, I think that it's just kind of what I am getting of Venda is like if you kill someone, you kind of get their sense of responsibility. But I would never kill someone because I don't like work. So
Yeah. I think Venda, to your point, Maggie, is really a break it, you buy it scenario. It's like, oh, you broke it. You're either going to get punished for it or it's yours. Like
exactly,
that's it.
it's a dog eat
Um,
dog world.
and this is where we start to see Kaden not be like the cool guy assassin that we know him to be, because he's like, hey, I brought some prisoners. Kamazar's like, we don't do prisoners here. We're going to kill him. And Kaden's like, maybe don't. I have a crush on her. And Kamazar's like, I'm going to consider it, but probably going to kill her.
Kaden immediately goes from bad boy assassin to Kamazar cuck. The Kamazar the Commissar sees Leah and is like, wow, look at your little pet you brought back. And Kaden saves her by being like, yes, but she has the gift, which oohs and awes the crowd because the gift is some supernatural for like literally like the force
It's
in
that
Star
so
Wars.
Raven. It's that so
Yes,
Raven. It's that
it's
so
also
Raven
Raven.
powers. Where the visions are usually true, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah, she's batting like a 500
She's
average. Is
like
that bad?
I would say she's so
That close
Raven,
though.
but she's Leah, so it's different.
It's different, the same idea, different names. And he's picking up on this fact that there's something between Kaden and her, and he does throw her in a cell because, she kind of is a prisoner.
She's
She's
a
still
prisoner.
alive, which is great. That's a good sign.
Yeah, and luckily she gets thrown in this dungeon with Rafe, so they have like a second to kind of like what's the game plan here? First, they're gonna kiss. Then
Kissing
she's gonna
mode.
slap him because he lied about being a prince, and lied about being a farmer. So he did a lot of lying. So like she's mad, but she's happy about it. And he's like, "Don't you worry, Lia. There's a whole bunch of people ready to help us." And she's like, "Oh, thank God, an army." And he goes, "There is 4 people ready to help us."
And she's like, "What is so special about these 4 guys?" And he goes, "They're my 4 guys."
And
And
he's like,
together
"They're like my."
we make
He's
5 guys.
He's like, wait, Leah, hear me out. These are my 4 best friends in the entire world.
Like it's like a boy that you're dating in college and he's like, "You're gonna love them." And then he opens the door to a college apartment and you're like, "Oh God, I
Yeah.
can't stand these guys. I would not trust them to make breakfast for me ever."
Yeah. But Leah has no choice but to really like trust the process here and like hope for the best.
Mhm.
In her prisoner life, now that she lives, she's given a very rough bath and then given a sack to wear. Picture a very giant potato sack that's like just too big for her tiny little princess body.
I feel like as
Um,
a sort of humiliation ritual, I think the Komizar could have done better. We're just putting her in
yeah.
a burlap sack. That's all we're doing.
He should have taped little rubber chickens to her feet so that way they squeaked every time she walked.
You know
That
what's
would be
so funny?
embarrassing.
I was gonna say feathers and tar, like
Oh,
she
yeah,
looks like
that
a
would be
duck.
more painful, yeah.
Oh, is it? I
I
don't
mean,
know.
yeah, like, yeah, if you, like, put tar on someone, it's like,
I thought that
the
tar was
it's
just
a
glue. I
problem.
think I'm thinking of the Parent Trap when they dumped the thing, and I'm like, it didn't hurt them.
Oh,
Was it tar?
that wasn't tar.
Okay, something that's nicer. And she's just in a burlap sack, the hottest fashion of the season. Pauline, meanwhile, is speeding with Gwyneth. She is trying to beg for Leah's life. She's heading to Morrigan. And unfortunately, they are going to meet with the Chancellor. We
Whew,
don't like the
we
Chancellor.
don't
He's
like the
kind of
chancellor.
shady. We don't trust his intentions. We know that he hired someone to kill Leah in the last book. Not a good guy.
Mm, no, but we do
Gwyneth
learn that
does
Gwyneth is a spy. That's cool.
that rocks. And she does imply that she seems to know the Chancellor in an intimate setting outside of spying. Feels like something happened.
Yeah.
So,
Yeet. We're going to learn more about that later
yeet.
because we are checking back in with the Commissar who is ready to face his prisoners. So Rafe continues his lie, says he's the prince's hand. He also makes more lies. He says the Dalbrek king is dying, and he knows because he's the prince's right hand that the prince wants to form an alliance with Venda. And the Commissar is like, okay, I'll consider it. And then the Commissar is talking to Leah alone and is like, hey, you know how I took your clothes? If you act up, I'll take more shit from you and destroy your life. So that's not nice.
Exactly. What's he going to take from her? We don't know, but it could be anything. Kaden and Rafe, meanwhile, have a very stiff conversation where Rafe kind of has this thing where he's just always mad if Kaden is left alone
I
with
mean,
Leah.
if
And that's just
I
kind of
think
the
okay,
vibe.
let's like debrief on Rafe's feelings so far.
Yeah.
This guy has kidnapped the girl he's in love with and was supposed to marry and
Compelling
took her
point.
on a 60-day journey to keep her a prisoner in a castle. I feel like I'd be pretty mad too.
You know, Laura, you make a good point. I was maybe of the essence of let's hear him out, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Rafe
I
has
mean,
every right to be
We
mad.
have to remember that, like, while Kaden is also weirdly in love with Leah, he did abduct her against her will.
I do feel like I'm playing devil's advocate because Kaden is truly that friend that you're like, well, I know you're gonna shit talk me or not stand up for me behind my
Yeah.
back when I leave, and so I don't trust you. You're a coward, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a
Kaden's
big
pretty awful.
He really is. There's a big feast where they pay homage to the bones of the animals feeding them. They're like obsessed with bones, you guys. They love them
They're
before their
like,
meals.
food is so scarce in Venda, let us kiss our bones. And
Mhm.
then they like kind of make like little like string of bones to carry around with them. It's
Mhm.
interesting, to say the least. And there's a little prayer that goes with it. Um,
Mhm.
and
Commissar does try to
yeah,
embarrass Leah again, and she does say that he should call her Giselia by her full name. She's like, maybe the people will understand that this is in the ancient book of Venda, and
they
I am
don't.
the chosen one. She's really obsessed with being the chosen one, and she kind of is.
Yeah, I have to say this does go to Leah's head so fast. She's like, well, maybe if they all think I'm the chosen one, everything will be fine for me.
Yeah, and it does go over everyone's head. The joke lands flat. She's got the burlap sack on. Everyone's like, don't want to call you by your birth name. Really taking the L's, taking the piss over here.
Yeah. But Lee has to keep up this ruse that her and Rafe do not get along, so she's gonna stay in Kaden's room. Yeah, oh. And Leah's also very intelligent, so the moment her and Kaden are alone, she's like, "Tell me how it works here. What's the deal in Venda? What do I gotta know?" And he gives her like kind of the lowdown on like how things work, but deep down, we learn that Kaden is very stressed about his decision to bring Leah here. He's like, this was bad. This was actually a mistake. I'm learning my lesson.
Which he could remedy that by right now giving her the answers she wants when she is like, how do you get out? And he's like, the only way is the bridge. Don't even think about it. And she also is like, how what do we do with the Komizar? And he's like, you can't kill him. If you kill him, you become him and you lead. So there's
Yeah.
really no way out of this.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, Caden's like, it sucks that you can't get out, but it sucks that I kind of threatened and brought you here in the first place. Like, Caden's like mad that he made Lee a prisoner, but won't accept the accountability for it, which I hate so much.
I also love at some points she will try to humanize him in the book, and she is just so taken aback by how colorful and beautiful his room is. And there's little trinkets from the women at the Cam Lanto, that like desert
Yeah,
land from the first book. So they're gonna have a lot of these moments where it's just kind of nighttime, and they're bonding, I
they're slumber
guess.
partying.
They're
Yeah.
summer partying, they're kikiing.
Leah does have one of her visions of Rafe leaving without her, so kind of TBD on if that's going to be the truth. But in the morning, we meet this girl, Aster, who I can't help but picture has like a child's Cockney accent just because of the way her diction is written in the book. And she
I
always
kind of
calls
thought
her
she had a
Ms.
lisp. Yeah.
She's like, hey, Ms., you got your boots for you.
I love that you had Cockney. I can totally see that. I had a little bit of a lisp. She is
Yeah,
a very endearing small child.
I was picturing British orphan to a T in the world of Venda.
Yeah, so Little Miss Oliver Twist brings boots for Leah, and she's kind of her little maiden. And Kaden comes back. Leah is like, I am going to wear trousers, so help me God. And she
Yeah.
grabs a little wooden sword and starts like swatting at Caden's legs.
She does hit him too hard.
Oops.
So Caden's like, "You've earned clothes. I've decided that." And Caden also announces that the Commissar is about to leave and go find one of the governors, who can't remember he's in trouble or he's just like missing. I don't know if it's ever really explained, but the Commissar puts Caden in charge while he is away, and he's going to be gone for a few weeks. And we kind of get some intel on why Kaden is so loyal to the Komizar.
Mhm.
Basically, like the Komizar took him in when he was really little, and Kaden hasn't really had any reason to go against him.
Yeah, and while the Commissar is away, he is the keep, and he does kind of explain that, Venda is not like the other kingdoms. Venda is impoverished, it is very hungry. The village has taken a hit because their fruit lands dried up, so that's a huge reason they're trying to take over the kingdoms, because
Yeah,
when everything was redrawn, they were left out of the treaties between Morgan and Dalbreck.
yeah,
And so that is a lot of their intentions, is just to take over the other cities. And
exactly.
while they are on this horse ride, Leah kind of realizes, she's like, I'm kind of falling in love with the city. Look at all these ancient ruins, kind of beautiful. Yeah, I mean, she's switching teams very quickly.
Yeah, she's kind of falling in love. She's like, wow, everyone's so poor here. It's so romantic. Kaden does take her to get clothes from like their little market area. They run into Aster again, and she's gonna tell the children's story. She's like, wow, everybody is obsessed with me. This is amazing. But Leah also is realizing like the route that Kaden is taking her on makes no sense. And she's like, oh, right, I'm still a prisoner. He's making sure I don't know how to get around this city at all,
Mhm.
because he's still awful. Um, yeah,
She is going to figure it out, though, that there are a few hidden passages within the sanctum, because back later that night in Caden's room, Leah finds a trap door that brings her down into a spiraling staircase. And Hey, the supernatural, it's gonna enter this book
Hell
because
yeah.
she does see the ghost of Venda, who is like the first king's wife who fell off the wall. She
Yeah.
tries to talk to her, but she vanishes. And when she's on her way back to the room, she has a really close encounter with two people wheeling a wheelbarrow. And she's like, I gotta be careful if I'm gonna be sneaking around, to be honest.
Yeah. As she's kind of exploring her secret passages, she ends up on the windows and ends up going into Rafe's dungeon.
Why
So they
not?
get a little check-in moment. He hugs her. They bicker about how they're lying again. But she's like, I'm still in love with him, so it's fine. She does tell him about the stolen texts and the Song of Venda, so he can be filled in. But Rafe's kind of like, that's a lot of information to take in. I'm not necessarily sold on this just yet.
We also do in their little moment of jealousy because obviously he's like, you were flirting with Kaden and you're pretending not to know me. And she's like, yes, it is a game move. Also, you're flirting with Calantha, which is one of the Komizar's
Yeah.
very close friends. I don't really know if she's employed, but I was like, okay, who is this person that he's
Yeah.
flirting with?
She takes care of Leah a lot too. I imagine her as kind of like a head maid or something, or a head assistant that she's always kind of like coming and going and bathing and making sure
Yeah,
everybody has their stuff.
yeah.
But Leah dips out pretty quickly, not to cause suspicion. Rafe, meanwhile, is for somehow like tugged along with Caden's Komizar duties while the guy's away, and he watches Kaden oversee an execution, which is terrifying. It's like yeesh. Um,
Yeah, it is. He really has a different opinion of Caden after seeing him behead a few folks. Leah, on an absolutely wonderful walk, she's continuing her journey as, the guillotine is being brought down. She's exploring the sanctum. She stumbles upon a ton of robed scholars working very, what I imagine, deep down below, like into the earth. No
yeah.
one really knows. They're very secretive, and when they catch her, they basically just tell her, get the scram,
Hey, scram, lady! This is our underground library.
find your own.
And she goes, "Ah, geez, okay, I'll go find my own
Ah,
underground."
shoot, I gotta start my own club. Yeah, there's clubs at the Sanctum too now, and
Yeah.
she's,
There has to be a club at the Sanctum.
yeah.
Meanwhile, we're gonna check in with Pauline and Gwyneth. They're very much like a C or a D plot in this book. We just get very small vignettes of what's going on with them back in Civica. So the
Mhm.
Chancellor agrees to finally meet with both of them. He immediately is like, Leah's not alive. Don't believe it. But we also get the bomb drop that Gwyneth had the Chancellor's baby way back when, and it was a stillborn. Soof.
Depressing.
And to make matters worse, they receive a letter the next day that the king and the queen are not interested in whatever news they have to share. So Gwyneth is like, we gotta relocate. Too much bad stuff's happening. We gotta keep moving because this is actually very bad for us to be here right now.
Leah, though, is acclimating to Venda like a fly to a light. The people are loving her. They've made this fancy dress for her for this fancy dinner. Rafe is also attending. He's not it doesn't matter because she is the bee's knees. She is Miss Popular on campus.
Yeah, and even Calantha is like, "Oh, you got this type of dress? That means the clan Marusai welcomes you." And Calantha's like really happy about it, and it's like, "Oh, geez, this can't be good."
Calantha plays a very hot and cold. Sometimes she likes Leah, sometimes she doesn't. But
I
she's
mean, if
got
you're a
a
servant in a
fancy new
kingdom,
dress.
I imagine you have good days and bad days.
That is fair, to be honest. I feel like when you are, yeah, a servant in a fascist regime, I would imagine every day is kind of a Monday, you know?
That's a story of Venda, am I right?
The
Every day's a
story of
Monday
Venda.
here. Meanwhile,
And
Caden's being an asshole because he's going to taunt Rafe about how much Leah loves staying in his room, which is not true. And he's
yeah.
also going to threaten him. Little Komizar has gone to his head. He's like, I've got a girl in my room and she loves it. And also, if you want to save her, you better never talk to her ever.
And so on the heels of this, he goes up, he sees Leah's got this hot new dress, and Caden's like worried about this. He is like, oh my gosh, it's just if they like start accepting you, like then you're like here and things like that. And it's like not good because the Commissar will think that you are turning against him. And it's like, you wanted this the whole
You
time. You
brought
want to
her
be integrated
here.
into your community. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You were hired to kill her and then you said, no, I'll bring her back. Like, what are you mad at?
He's really trying to get her to play down the limelight, which is not good because at dinner she is tasked with saying the blessing, and afterwards, Kaden does kind of chew her out because he's like, "Listen, the Venda people, they've never accepted a prisoner faster. That's just going to go to her head. Listen, once again, she is the
Kaden,
queen."
above everything, is worried about Leah's ego.
Exactly.
We also do get like the reason he is worried about her being welcomed by Ryusai is it's one of the oldest clans, and it literally directly it translates to the child of like Venda, the ghost woman that we are seeing around the kingdom.
Mhm.
So it sounds like some people are kind of aware of Leah's maybe lore, her little go ghost juice, that's steaming up inside her genetics.
Yeah,
Um,
the
the
ghost juice.
next
I mean, it's she's full of it.
She's full of it.
Ghost juice.
Eben the next day is in charge of watching Leah. They're kind of becoming friends because she killed his horse for him.
Yeah,
Um,
that was really sweet of her.
yeah, so they're gonna tend to more horses. But days are passing, and Leah hasn't really talked to Rafe at all, and she's getting really worried about him. But simultaneously, she's like, maybe Finn isn't so bad. I'm getting kind of used to my routine here.
And she also is going to have a moment of independence and finding herself in this community, really an eat, pray, love moment because Kaden is going out. He's going with the governors on the road. He's got to find some of them. So, see ya, Kaden.
Yikes. Yeah, so yeah, the Komizar returns. He's like, I got one, Governor. Kaden, you're next. So
Switcheroony.
yep, Kaden leaves. And Komizar's taken back in. Leah does confront Kaden right before he leaves, and it's like, again, why are you doing all of this for him? And he gives us a little bit of a deeper reason that basically, like, he was sold when he was a child, and the Komizar killed the people that he was sold to and were abusing him. So he's like, I owe him my literal life, which, okay, makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, okay, daddy issues. Also, his
Yeah.
mom died when he
He
was
has
super. I
mommy
guess
issues too.
he's got both. This is why he's like this. His mom died when he was super young, which he tells Leah to the night before riding out. And then before he heads out, they do share a real kiss. I guess on his end.
I
I mean, he
didn't
is
read it as that.
Delulu.
I read it as Leo was kind of sitting there and he went in for the kiss, but she didn't stop it because she was kind of playing the game. But
I think it might have been from his point of view that it was written, so it was like quoted as
yeah,
a
so he
real
was like, this
kiss.
is real. This is real. She loves me.
Like he was like thinking so deeply about their future, and she was like, "What should I eat for breakfast?" You know?
um so Kate and then Kaden's gone at night. The Commissar is like, hey, let's go riding around Venda.
Mhm.
And Leah, who somehow hates the Commissar, also is realizing that he like genuinely cares about the people of Venda. So she's like, maybe this place isn't so bad. The Commissar really loves the villagers here.
Yeah, and she is taking away that he really cares about them because he's like, listen, we don't have enough food for them. We have to feed their bellies with hope. So there's not enough food for his individuals, and she's just like, this guy who's starving them, not that bad.
Yeah, and it's like, Leah, you are smarter than this, please.
Leah, you are. He brings her to the poorest hamlets, the poorest towns, and tells them that she ran from enemy swine to join them. Look at her; she's going to bring us to victory. And exactly like Laura said, she starts to warm up to him because she remembers that he was, I guess, technically the one who saved Kaden, and he's instilling hope in all these people. So he
Yeah,
can't
maybe
be
he's
that
not so
bad.
bad. Meanwhile, we do get a touch base of Kaden on his journey to find the governor, and we learn that the governor's pretty much already dead, so he kind of nailed that one. And
I
then
love getting to a place and I'm like, well, job here is done. Guess we can pack it up and go home.
right, and then meanwhile, Rafe won a bath in cards, so he's gonna get his get a little sudsy sudsies on. And when he gets out of the
Dub
bath,
a dub
Leah's
dub.
just randomly there, so that's cool.
Yeah, Leah sneaks out. She finds Rafe. They share a moment. She finally is takes them. We are in a book and a half in. She apologizes for running on the wedding, and they're like, "Don't worry. Someday we're gonna go back to Terravan. That's gonna be our honeymoon. We're gonna have the time of our life. We'll get the little Mickey and Minnie matching
Yeah,
ears. You
they're like,
know,
isn't it so fun pretending to be poor right now?
exactly. This is their vacation before they go back to being rich."
Yeah.
Um, Aster is at Leah's disposal. She shows up. She asks her to. be led to the caves where she first saw all that scholars. She's like, Aster, surely you know where they are.
They are called the Ghoul Caves, which I think is the coolest name of any place in this entire book series.
Oh my god, I forgot about the ghoul caves. So she's hunting around the ghoul caves. She's trying to realize, she's realizing that they are deciphering ancient text and utilizing it potentially for war. And she does give Aster a scarf after all of this help, which I thought was very sweet.
Yeah, and yeah, she gets a little bit more backstory on Venda and Gaudier and Morgan and other characters in these ancient texts.
Mhm.
Komizar is also bringing Lia around more and more to different villages.
I will say the old text is actually really interesting, and I just
Yeah,
realized that reading my notes because it was three daughters who were ripped from their
yes.
family that started the whole arranged marriage thing. So are these the three kingdoms, do you think?
Um,
Or am I just tying something together that's not
I
there?
think it's a little bit different because I think like Morgan was a half sister and then there was Gaudier. Maybe it is like Gaudier was another kingdom that like
I
maybe
guess
doesn't
we'll figure
exist
that out in the
anymore. I'm sure
prequel.
we're gonna figure out more. But Kamazar, in his words, wants Leah to fervor his people with just her snappy lingo and words that they seem to love so much.
He does also say, "Can you stop looking so tired to start off the day?"
He's like, hey girl, tits up, ass out. Tell the people how awesome Venda is.
Gives her a little slap. He's like, "Get the bags out from under your eyes. Then this'll
Yeah.
this'll shock you." He
He's like,
doesn't do that.
get
He
a
doesn't do
cup of
that just yet.
coffee, Jesus.
Get a cup of coffee.
But Leah, she stands on business because she's going to confront one of the quarter lords, again another term in their hierarchical rulings, for cutting off a youth's finger, and the quarter
Mm.
lord's like, he was accused of stealing, and Leah's like, no no no, he's a child, and then he hits her, and then the commissar's like, Leah, you sit in place, you're a prisoner, and there are no children in Venda.
Exactly, because at one point she's gotten a sword and she threatens to cut off the quarter lord's arm. She's like, "Which one?" And she also has a knife. And Komizar is like pissed. She's like, "Where'd you get that from?" And she's like, "I stole it." Because she's not gonna out her friends. These are her
She
homies
can't.
now.
She can't.
The Commissar does behead Quarter Lord shortly after lying to him because he's just kind of got anger. He clearly wants to take out
Yeah,
on her. He's got to put it somewhere.
for sure.
So she needs to be a little bit better about keeping her rage together.
Yeah.
When they show up, Rafe sees her. She's got a torn dress. He is quick to be like, "What happened?" And they have a quick chat that is interrupted by the Commissar. And again, they need to chill out because I would see that and be like, they're either conspiring or they like they clearly know each other.
I mean, yeah. No, but it also maybe I think they could spin it as like, well, what? We're both prisoners. What, are we supposed to not be friends? We're the only two prisoners here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good angle. I guess that could
Yeah.
work.
But the Commissar is gonna bring Leah to like the square right outside the sanctum to tell everybody a story at night. She tells them the two sisters story that she read in the ancient texts. But it's a little bit interesting because this guy Ulrich tells Leah to wear her purple, and then brings her to a dark chamber afterwards, which doesn't sound very good.
Doesn't sound good. Kamzar has this whole thing set up, and you'll never believe it. Leah is up for promotion. She's about to get an upgrade. She is, going to get a boost. She is going from his prisoner to his wife.
Oh my god, what an upgrade.
Congratulations.
She's like, shit, I didn't mean to like Venda this much. And this is not ideal. She does not want to, but she kisses him because she's like, I gotta play along because I don't
Because
want to
he
die.
says too that if she doesn't do it, he will kill Kaden. And she's like, that's kind of okay. And then he says Rafe, and she's like, shit.
The commissar being like, well, I'll kill Kaden, and she's like, and he's like, I'll kill Rafe, and she's like, okay, fine.
It really is. He's just shooting darts at a dartboard until one sticks. And I do love that it has today. She is so nonchalant about Kaden. And then Rafe, she's like, well, you
And
got me there.
poor Rafe's about to have a really bad dinner because he sits down. The commissar's like, hey, Dulbrecht prisoner, the Dulbrecht queen is dead. Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
And
God.
Rafe has to act like he's like kind of like shocked but not heartbroken that his mother is dead. And then immediately after, really bad timing, Leah, she announces to everybody that she will be marrying the commissar. And he doubles down and says, see y'all in 6 days.
She proposes 6 days, which I was like, like, girl, you're following the adrenaline a bit too much. Like, what are you gonna, you're not gonna, how are you gonna get out of this? So air is tight between Rafe and her. They can't really
Oof.
talk just yet. And Kamazar is like pretty drunk. He's like, all
Yeah.
right, wifey, come back to my room. And she's like,
Yikes.
no, you either get me to stoke the fervor of your people, or you get, I'm going to shut down. So we're waiting until wedding night to lose my virginity. Um, yeah, that's kind of
And,
what it is.
and after this, we get another really good cutaway scene of Kaden riding his horseback, being like, huh, I really miss Lia. I wonder if she missed me.
He's such an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's just so stupid.
Trotting along, being like, wow, I hope everything's okay in Venda while I've been away.
I guess, like, when you're young, you might be that delusional if you have a crush. You're like, oh, okay, I'm obsessed with my crush, and that means at some point they have to like me
Yeah,
back.
I picture him like whistling to himself, scatting along as he's riding his fucking
He
horse.
has no idea what is in store for him.
No, he does not.
Back in Morgan, Pauline explains to Leah's brother she's kidnapped, and they were like, the queen was the most pissed that she ran. It seemed like the king was like, I told you not to put her in an arranged marriage, and the queen was like, she has to do it. Birdie also has joined them from
Yes.
Terravan, so
Yeah,
they
and
got
I will
a
say
horse.
this is not the first time we've been left to be suspicious about like Leah's mom and her intentions. We kind of feel
Hmm.
like Leah's mom has some ulterior motives throughout the first book and now definitely in this second book. Um
Yes.
Calantha, she's having a good day. She's going to take Leah for a bath, and she's also going to give Leah a little more intel on like why she is the way that she is. And she
Hmm.
says she was the daughter of the last Komizar, and she helped the current Komizar kill her dad.
Hmm.
Oopsie.
Oopsie, you're wondering why we don't get that answer yet. Calantha does leave her with guards who are seemingly terrified of Leah because, again, she is supposedly supposed to have this gift. And immediately they leave her. So she goes through the tunnel. She's trying to see if there's any escape besides the bridge because it's basically like you can't put the bridge down, there's no other escape. And she's kind of realizing that there isn't. While
Yeah.
this is happening, Rafe is outside chewing an apple. She is shows up at the same time. He does compliment her, and Kaden rolls up on his horse, having a good day,
It's like that
whistling
one
his
like
tune.
Spider-Man meme. Everybody's like, "What are you doing here?"
And this is the first time it's kind of fun because, like, Rafe is like, to me, his attitude is, I don't give a fuck. Like, it's all
Yeah.
going to shit. And he's like, Kaden, you heard the good news, buddy? We're all, bud? Can I call you bud?
Yeah.
And he does tell him that Kamazar and Leah, they're kind of going to get married.
So Kaden goes full temper tantrum mode. He's gonna go talk to the Commissar and goes, ah, what? And then, pretty much
He's
exactly what he does.
exactly. He's like stomping in his little boots. He's got his big boy panties on. He's pissed. He starts physically fighting the Commissar, and he's like, "Listen, I want to marry her. You weren't supposed to do that. Why'd you do
And
that?"
the Commissar's being such a prick about it. He's like, hey, she's the one who wanted to marry me. What the heck was I supposed to do?
He really is. And Caden's like, I don't believe that at all. So there he goes, stomping off. He's going to talk to Leah again. And Leah is like, listen, I'm leaning in. This is my life now. I got to make the most of my opportunities.
And he's like, what? Just because you're a prisoner here and the only options are to marry the Commissar or die, you're choosing to marry him?
Yeah, once again, Caden completely misses the point. Caden and Rafe have a moment after this where Caden is like, I don't know what to do. Venda loves her. Like, look at them. And Rafe is like truly in denial about this responsibility because he does not want to accept that Leah might be liking Venda.
Yeah, he's still like he's in. Rafe also kind of goes into like double down mode. He's like, I gotta get a plan to get her out of here and fast.
Mhm.
Um, and meanwhile, we get kind of like an internal monologue of Leah, like knowing that if she goes through with this marriage, Rafe will continue to stay alive. And she does feel a little bad for deceiving Kaden on the whole, like trying to like pretend she likes something. Oopsie.
Mhm. Aster later that night has someone come up with her, and
Patty
they
Clapper.
The Patty Clapper brings Lia more
Or
firewood,
patties for the clap.
more patties for the clapping. The patties, of course, when we reference those, the logs, the clapping, the fire, and he
Yeah, yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
is
yeah, that's right.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I think that
Yeah,
makes
yeah, yeah,
sense.
the patty claps.
Oh, the patty claps. You know when the patties they clap.
Yeah, when the patties be clapping.
He speaks in Moragese, so she's like, "Oh, he must be on my side." And she's like, "Aster, could you just maybe give us a second?" He reveals he's with Dalbrek. He is one of four that are stationed in the city. Hacker voice they're in, and they're gonna get her out. She does for the first time. I think it is so funny that it is to one of Dalbrecht's soldiers and not like Rafe. She does cry in front of him. This is the first
Yeah.
guy I'm pretty sure she's cried in front of.
She did. Did she cry in Terravan at all?
You would
No,
oh,
I think she cried a
maybe
little
one
bit
of
in Terravan at the creek once,
I
and
guess maybe Kaden when her brother Walther died.
oh yeah, yeah, she
Yeah.
definitely cried then. Um,
Rafe, oh for 2. Come on, buddy.
yeah. But he reminds her of her brother Bryn, which is kind of sweet. But this kind of distills hope in her and kind of snaps her out of this weird Vendan fog, the Vendan juice she's been sipping.
Lemon and juice she has just been chugging down like Space Jam at the end, Michael's juice. You know?
Yeah, and Leah, speaking of drinking the Kool-Aid, is in Sanctum Hall and just sees Venda, straight up is talking to her. Venda says that she named her Giselia after obviously this forlorn sacred text, and we kind of cut back out to the wider picture and no one knows who the fuck she's talking to.
Exactly. There's like a group of people just kind of watching her. It is very quiet. Komizar comes in, breaks the silence. He's like, "Where's my wife?" And he plants a big fat one on her. And whoa, Kaden comes in hot too and is like, "Komizar said there's no reason you can't serve us both in a sexual way." To Leah, he says that. Crazy.
That's crazy.
So rude of
Um,
him.
yeah, we do get a little wee woo alert to the Sanctum Hall. Loot has come in, and it's coming in on wheelbarrows, and Rafe realizes it's Dalbrek things, so it's kind of a bummer for him that he's taking L's left and right this book. This poor guy.
I know, and he was like so happy about his plan to be like Dalbrek, Venda, team up.
He's like,
I
my
get
four my
Morrigan's
four best
port.
friends are gonna save us, and he's like, this is not working out the way I planned. So much bad shit is happening.
Exactly. He goes up to the Komzar and he's like, "I thought we had an agreement," but Komzar's like, "I didn't do anything. I did no such thing." He's kind of got like, I'm just a boy
And
energy.
now, and somehow the Komizar makes Kaden and Rafe sword fight. That's what this turns into. Kaden does win, but Kaden immediately realizes that Rafe let him win because Rafe is smart and knows he shouldn't show off what a skilled swordsman he actually is.
Exactly, because Colonel Sven, one of his soldiers that are in the room, kept kind of being like, "Hey,
Yeah,
maybe back off a little bit." And Kaden is starting to get suspicious because he's like, "How would an emissary fight like that? That's
yeah,
crazy."
that doesn't make sense.
When Kaden gets back to his room, Leah's, you guessed it, she's got her sword up. She's swinging around, and he disarms her. And Aster comes in, little scrappy Aster, and she's like, "You leave her alone. You leave Ms.
No,
alone."
oh no, she's actually like, you leave my Miz alone, mister.
You're right. I'm so sorry for misrepresenting Aster like
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
She is clearly upset, and he's like, I'm sorry, like I was angry, and that's why I basically said that you have to service both me and the Commissar, and I want to be served. Sorry. Sorry, that's not gonna fly
I
with
mean,
me.
hey, we gotta say it on the air, Meg. Can we really be mad at Caden for just wanting to get his dick sucked? Like, can we really be mad at the guy?
He's rolling in drunk. He's
He,
confused because Leah's given
he's,
him every flag to indicate
he's
she does not like him, but
he's
that's
like,
not enough.
I abducted you against your will, made you go on a 60-day journey, and after all of this, you won't even suck my dick a
You
little
won't
bit.
even not even a small bit.
Not even one little suck for my little dick.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So he's like, haven't I earned that at this point?
Above everything.
I brought you here against your will. Um, so no, she's not going to do that. She's
No,
not going to
she's
do that. He tries to talk about it further, but she clearly shuts it down and she's like, good night. And while they're having that tension, Rafe's having a boys' night. He's meeting up
yeah,
with the homies.
somehow all the boys have found a way to get in touch with each other. He reunites with Sven, who is cosplaying as one of the governors. Dangerous, might I add. And Jeb and Oren in their own little costumes come by as well. And they're like, don't you worry, we're building, wait for it, a raft. And Rafe's like, that sounds awful.
He's like, how are we going to do that? And they're like, out of barrels. We're putting the barrels together. We're making a raft. It's going to be a real sight. You're going to be so excited.
They're like, this is the best raft made of barrels you've ever seen. And he's like, how the hell are you getting so many barrels? They're like, it's taking a lot of time, but we're putting them together.
They're like, more so the string. The string is hard to find to just kind of put them together. It's really loose string. You got to go to the markets for it. So they're putting stuff together. Jeb does say that he talked to Lia. She knows that they're all there. They're fine. She gave Jeb knowledge on paths in the sanctum. So we kind of are going to assume that they're going to take advantage of the paths. And she also says that the Komizar, the reason she's doing this is he is holding Rafe over Lia's head. So they're like,
Yeah.
we gotta get her out because the wedding is in 3 days.
And speaking of a 3-day away wedding, someone's getting their wedding dress fit. It's Lia. And she asks the people fitting her more about like the song of Venda, to be like, anyone else know this one? Anyone else know this little ditty? But she doesn't
She's
really
like
get much.
humming it, waiting
She's
for
like,
someone to join in.
and she had a sister, and there was
There
a
were
dragon.
Calantha shows up, and Lia is like, "Wait, okay, this is totally my moment to get some details from her, girl Gab."
She's like,
And
hey, so you remember when you said you helped the current Komizar kill your dad? What the fuck was that about?
what was all about? Was it, are you guys in love? And Calantha was like, no, 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 no. Oh my God, girl, it was crazy. I was hooking up with this guy. I was in love with him. Dad figured out. Ugh, no, so annoying. And my dad did kill him. And also left me seriously maimed. Don't you
Yeah.
hate when that happens?
Don't you hate when that happens? So current Kamazar basically found her left for dead and basically got her saved back to health. So she was like, cool, I'll just help you kill my dad who was going to kill me. And that'll be that. And that's the
Yep,
story. And the
that's the
story's cut.
story.
The story ends at the perfect time because who walks in? None other than Kamazar himself.
I like
He's
to imagine he is kicking in the door.
because he comes in flaunting it. He is flirting hard. And Leah has learned his real name. I forgot to write it down, but she calls him
Reginus?
Reginus. She calls him that. He's pissed.
He
He's
does, which
fucking
is
pissed.
probably good because she really needed to disarm him because his energy was like, why do you shower assassin with affections and not Big Papa? Big Papa
Yeah, he's
want
like, what do you
affections.
think of Big Papa the affection?
And she's like, well, you're not Big Daddy to me, okay? Reginus.
And he's like,
Reginus? What a crazy name.
whoa, 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 that's not cool.
He
Um,
does elaborate on the Calantha story, and he says he killed the previous Komizar to avenge her and get his namesake. And, he's just kind of not a nice guy anymore, and she's just got
no.
to deal with it, which
Yeah,
is
Leah's like,
evident in
wait
the
a
next
minute, maybe he
scene.
is a piece of shit.
Yeah, we got to take them. Sometimes I was like, I kind of like their energy. Is it sexy? I did text you at one point. I was like, it's kind of hot. And you were like,
I
no.
don't know. No, I never thought it was.
I don't
But there was
know.
a part like earlier on in the book when she mentioned that he was like kind of like good looking. I was like, is this gonna be like a love quadrangle now?
I thought so. You know what? It was when he called her his pet. I was like, uh
Uh,
oh, I'm
wee woo,
Maggie.
wee woo.
Maggie kind of
Um,
turned on.
and he's like, don't you worry, Leah. Your room's gonna get moved closer to mine, and also let me show you my giant army village of the army I'm growing. And so he takes her by to this giant area filled with tents of hundreds of
Hundreds
thousands
of
of
thousands.
soldiers, and they're also breeding giant horses. And he's
They're
like, so
like
my
building
plan,
and blow up as bombs.
and he's like, So you might be wondering what I'm doing with the giant horses and the hundreds of thousands of people willing to fight for me at any like nook and cranny and turn. I
Mhm.
want all of it. I want the whole kingdoms. I want all of them.
Yep, yep.
Simple as that.
So he wants to overtake Morgan. Big moments. Rafe at his boys' night. Just kind of continue planning. They run into Grizz, who is one of the guys who kind of runs in Kaden's squad. And it seems Grizz is someone who just works between empires because he initially covered for Rafe when Rafe said that he was an emissary.
It's alluded to that Grizz is essentially a spy. Like, so he kind of is employed from place to place. So he knows Sven, which is
And
both good news and horrible news.
despite being not loyal to any of the kingdoms, he does say that Leah has to stay in Venda.
I think he just really likes Lia.
Yeah, I mean, I guess she is
She's
the talk of the
likable.
town. Everyone has a crush on her. And Sven is like, I mean, I kind of only had directions to get Rafe out, so I guess that's kind of fine. Rafe's pretty pissed about that. He's like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
He's like, nope, nope, the new orders now, or we get Lia out too. And he's like, okay, now I know.
Now I didn't know before. You can't fault me. I didn't know.
Leah goes back into the catacombs, runs into
The
another
ghoul
eerie
face.
site, which is a bunch of scholars in some spooky library on deep underground.
Mhm.
And she learns that these scholars were all hired from Morrigan. They are not Venden.
Yeah, they were planted by the chancellor. So when she leaves, she storms up because she's pissed and she yells at Kaden. She's like, "You knew this whole time that he was building this army." And he's like, "I mean, no harm's going to come to you or your friends. It's fine. They're just going to kill everyone else." And she's like, "How on earth can you control that? How on earth do
He's
you
like,
know that that's what's going to
it's
happen?"
like Leah, I know you think the Vendans are bad people, but how can you say they're bad people when they just want to destroy every single human in their path to get ultimate power over the world?
Exactly. They're
How
like,
can
"We've
you
been
say
left out of the
that?
treaties, so we're just going to radicalize and arm ourselves and murder everyone else." You
Yeah,
know,
what's the problem?
it's kind of how
Um,
governments and regimes fall.
exactly what Leah needed to hear. It stirs one of her That's So Raven visions of Civica, her home, burning to a crisp, and she's not having it. She still does her
Hmm.
little duty of telling the crowd a bedtime story, but she also notices that the winter season is fast approaching.
Yes, and in her bedtime story, she mentions dragons are going to come. Okay, Game of Thrones. Stay vigilant about enemies within. And she's not speaking about Venden victories, which really
No.
pisses the Komizar off to the point that he punches her in secret later. She's got a nasty bruise.
Yeah, no, he's mad that he didn't say anything about how cool and hot his army was and how it was going to do all the cool and hot things he wants it to do.
Exactly. He was like behind the teleprompter being like, read the cue cards. She
And
didn't.
meanwhile, Calantha, she's going to swoop in and give both Leah and Rafe a bone. She's just going to say, like, oops, Rafe's in your room, Leah. What are you going to do about it? Because Calantha's very, very smart. And
Hmm?
she also doesn't really have loyalties to anybody, even though she has
Mm-mm.
helped the Kamazar. But they basically have a little debrief. Rafe tells her the plan. He's like, this is all going to be worth it. And just so you know, Grizz will do anything to make sure you stay in Venda. Stay away from him.
The next day, she is getting dressed. She's getting ready. She's like, I want to wear my pants. Kamazar is like, you're not wearing your pants. I didn't spend all this money on a red
No, no,
wedding dress for
no.
you to just wear it for 10 minutes. You're wearing the red wedding dress. And then he also moves her to a room closer to him with no windows, locks her in.
And a
Luckily,
giant bed.
I'm crazy. Tila
Crazy.
tequila size bed, like a shot of love.
Yikes.
And Aster has also placed her knife in a safe place, luckily, within this new room, because she's locked in there. And I got very nervous that she was going to be locked in and not able to meet up with Rafe later.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the wedding morning. Leah gets a lovely bridal breakfast of bread and cheese.
Mhm.
And she's gonna go get ready for her like little morning good morning story that she tells to everybody in the square. And the Commissar's like, where you going, babe? Why are you wearing your pants and your riding clothes? You don't need to do the remembrances today. And before Lia can like object and say like, no, 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 everybody loves the remembrances, he locks her in the room.
Yep.
And luckily, she has a friend. Aster comes by pretty quickly afterwards. And Leah's like, please, like, I'm locked in. Help me, help me, help me.
Yeah.
Aster goes into the Komizar's room, steals the key, and comes back to get her. So she gets out and gets to go say her little good morning story to the people.
Back in Morgan, the tension is high because the Chancellor has finally alerted to everyone in Morgan that the princess has betrayed them. She's joined Venda of her own accord. And amidst this moment, Pauline also sees Michael, who was the man who impregnated her. And Leah said that he was dead because he is a little bit of a man whore. He's really
That sucks.
dragging that D around. And Michael, he's alive. So Pauline's going to have to kind of deal with that now.
We also
That,
get some good intel the night before that Kaden did like pull Leah, and he's like, what if you didn't marry the commissar? And we also
yes,
learned that Kaden also has the gift.
a
He
little
does,
bit of
he
a
also
gift.
a little bit, yeah, because he I don't like this would be kind of sweet if Kaden wasn't awful. He's like, I don't know, I just like saw us here in Venda together with kids, and Leah's like, I don't want that with you here.
I'm interested to see how that elaborates in book 3, if it's just gaslighting and he was fully like, yeah, you're going to have my child and stay here. And he does say that he loves her. And she's like, I mean, I care about him, but not in that way. And I'm
She's like,
pretty sure
oh, it's
he's
not
like,
like that.
he's like, okay, she's just not ready yet. That is what he's
She's like,
walking
she'll
away
come
with.
around. I know it.
Yeah.
But as she is saying the song of Venda to the city on her wedding morning, the ghost of Venda appears behind her, and she tells Leah the remaining verses of the Song of Venda that have been lost to time, and it essentially boils down to Giselia is sacrificed to save everybody. Bone chilling to Leah, but she's like, don't have time to think about it. Gotta get on my escape route and get the fuck out of here. But
Yes.
she turns, and who is there?
She is addressing this crowd and explaining the Song of Enda. And once again, Aster had let her out of the room, went into Komizar's fucking lair, got the key. Komizar is really mad about this, and he appears with Aster, knife in hand, and he kills the poor kid, stabs her in the chest.
And yeah, like there's not even words to exchange. Kamazar just slaughters Aster, knife to
Mhm.
throat in front of her.
And he
Leah,
goes, do we
oh, sorry.
understand each other now?
And Leah goes, yeah, we fucking do. Takes her little tiny knife, boom, into the side of him. And I'm kind of surprised she didn't go stab, stab, stab. She just did one big
Same.
stab.
Agree. You got to make
But
sure that this guy is dead.
you gotta do a double tap. I know zombies don't exist in this world yet, but you gotta do a double tap. You
You
gotta go
got to
stab,
do a double
stab.
tap.
You never know.
You never know. Kaden comes over, he sees this, he gives Leah Komzar's sword to escape. Rafe also shows up, and Leah reveals to Kaden that Rafe is the Prince of Dalbrek.
And she's like, and also, I'm leaving.
Yeah, he's getting a lot right now.
And Grizz does a Hail Mary moment because obviously, like, the townspeople are kind of watching this kerfuffle on the, balcony that they're on. Grizz announces Leah as the new Komizar to the entirety of Venda.
They're all cheering. Kaden finally kind of actually does something that is helpful, which he is like, Grizz, she will not survive the governor's like test or something. She will die. And
Yeah.
so now Kaden has joined forces, him and Rafe, they're fighting off people, and it is just like such a bloody battle.
Yeah, their guards are flying in. It's a giant fight. The group of Rafe, his friends, and Leah somehow manage to break free from this chaos. And
Mm.
Calantha helps them because as they like enter back into the sanctum, Calantha bolts the door behind them. And there's like kind of a moment where like Leah almost wants to bring Calantha with her, but realizes that
Yeah.
she can't, which is really sad. But they have to go through the catacombs to basically get to their exit point. So that's what they're gonna do.
So they do that. Rafe goes back up for some reason as the boys are freeing the rope on
Yeah.
the barrel makeshift raft. And it seems like he's really cutting it close because they've, freed the ropes. The I don't what do you call raft is kind of going, and in the nick of time he jumps back on to the
And
boats. They're all
behind
there.
him, he has bombed the bridge to Venda, so it is exploding. So that's pretty cool. Cool
That was
imagery
awesome.
there.
Yep.
And they're now wild water rafting down this almost frozen river because it's basically winter. Somehow Malik has posted himself on a, a place to stand, and he's aiming his arrows at what Lia thinks is Rafe for bringing her out of Venda. What Lia does not realize is the arrows are for her, and she gets hit twice.
She gets hit once in the leg and once in the back. And also, these are barbed, by the way.
Yeah.
She tumbles into the water. It is a raging tide, like raging rivers. Rafe dives in after her. I imagine she's got these fucking arrows and she hits so many rocks that the arrows like snap off. Like the
Ooh.
ends of it does. And Rafe gets her out of the water. I mean, she's like really losing steam and consciousness. And the last passage is her just kind of asking what side of the river they're on. And it's the safe side, but is she going to make it?
Yeah. Yeah. And they
Who
kind of have no
knows?
supplies, but they're going to keep going because they got to keep going.
Yeah, they gotta hike like 4 miles to his four guys.
Yikes. But they're going
Yikes.
to try their very best, and that's the heart of betrayal.
The Heart of
The
Betrayal.
heart of
And
betrayal.
obviously, the escape seemed a little bit botched. It was crazy. When you can only go out one bridge, you need a lot of ideas that are not just
Yeah.
barrel raft. So, for Laura and I's top five, we thought of top five other escape plans that maybe they could add. You know?
Yeah. Started off Meg.
Coming in at number five, why not just disguise her?
Like that's my thing. Like as we discussed this before airing, Meggie, like these four all clearly thought of great disguises and snuck into the city separately.
Mm,
Surely they could all have just like disguised her and snuck her out of the city.
I feel like that would be super easy.
It just makes more sense. I think they should Sound of Music this and sing like a really nice song at like a dinner, and when everyone's like so like impressed with the song, they
Yeah,
leave as everyone's just applauding because everyone's just
escape
so like
fascism through
mesmerized by
song.
the talent. What's wrong with that?
Exactly. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Number three, we are thinking like giant catapult, put them in, they'll have a good time, kind of like in Richie Rich, or
Whee!
big blob, like at summer
Yeah.
camp. You
Yeah,
know?
either or will work. I think catapult might work a little bit better, but I think giant summer camp blob thing that goes in the lake would also be fun.
Yeah, they might still have to swim, so that might be a problem.
Yeah, yeah. Number two is I really stand by this. I think they should get like a Boeing 737 inflatable slide that they could have just thrown out a window and just because like those turn into a raft. So if you just had one of those and put it out the window, you just go slide.
Exactly.
Now it's a flotation device.
There you go. And number one, she alluded to a dragon, so maybe they forced this like dragon that she alluded to on a relatively long leash to chase them out of the tower. They're doing some zigzags, and as they're zigzagging, they break the chain. They have a sword. They put the sword in the middle. The sword breaks. While they're running away, the dragon is contained and only has one move left. It blows fire down the drawbridge that is a rope. The drawbridge breaks. They're over the fire. They have to pull each other up and then they slide down. They're free. Yay.
Yeah, I think it's a really original idea, Maggie, and I think that would work.
Thank you. I agree.
Well, hell yeah, we did it. We talked about the second book, Heart of Betrayal. We
We
did it.
did.
That's the end of the episode.
And we're going to see you next week for the big one that I don't remember the name of, the
It's called The
Heart of
Beauty of
Darkness.
Darkness, I'm pretty sure.
Beauty of Darkness.
The Beauty of
We'll see
Darkness
you for that.
confirmed.
And in the meantime, please follow us mostly on TikTok is where we post the
Mhm.
most at Y'all We Read It. We post
Post the
little clips
most.
from the podcast. And email us at maggieandlaurapresent@gmail.com.
We love emails.
We love emails, and we love you, and we love life.
Aw.
We love Lia.
We love, well, do we?
Well,
I have a love-hate relationship with Lia. I really like her as a character because she's very flawed. But I
that is
question her
fair.
decisions, and that's it.
Yeah,
All
she's
right.
kind of cool.
All right.
Okay.